guys, we're playing a game called My Name Is You, and that's the only unusual thing of my life. I know nothing about this game. I'm just starting off. Um, so let's create a new story. Suppose we'll start at the very beginning. Yes, you will.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Once upon a time, there lived you.
There lived me. Okay.
Despite his unusual name, his life was hardly any different from others.
Okay.
It was an unusually usual day when he was getting ready to go to work.
Can't relate. Don't have a job right now.
2 hours of sleep. What a formality, he said to himself, glancing at his watch.
You got a rollie.
He was used to working at night, just as he was used to never having days off.
Never having days off. That's kind of sad.
That morning, the buttons on his shirt were fastened faster than usual.
Okay.
This was not by chance. The tear-off calendar boldly declared Friday, April 3rd.
So what's so important about April 3rd? It's just April 3rd. Do you want to tell me? Tell me more. Tell me
It
more.
reminded him that there were only 3 work days before his holiday, and there was no room for mistakes.
Oh, he's getting a holiday coming out. That's pretty cool.
His room in a communal apartment was not very big, so it did not take him long to pack.
Awesome. Good for him, I
Having
guess.
got dressed, he quietly walked past the neighbors' rooms into the hallway. Somebody was snoring loudly in the furthest room, which caused you to smile for some reason.
Because loud is funny, obviously.
He walked up to the front door and accidentally stepped on a pile of letters.
How dare he?
Picking up the envelopes, he saw his name on one of them. You automatically put it in his pocket and walked out.
Okay.
The thought that next Sunday, a huge stone would be removed from the entrance to the crypt of his existence by the power of labor legislation kept you going.
Okay, that's a lot of big words that I don't understand, but okay. Hurry to work or read the letter? Let's read the letter.
Glancing at the address line, a chill went through Yu's body for a split second. From Darina.
From Darina? Who's Darina?
Yu was confused by the seal on the envelope, indicating the place of departure. No leave grad.
No Leaf Grad. Where's that? Tell me.
Is she really coming back to Canot? Yu wondered.
A lot of interesting names.
Dear Yu, my doctor's suspicions are confirmed. I have the same disease that struck you. I thought it over and decided that we need to break up.
Dang.
It may seem that things like that should bring people closer, but it would be unfair to myself. We can have our last date on the morning of April 3rd in the Seafront Cafe, and then I will leave Canot and go abroad.
Oh, okay.
He felt dizzy.
I have 3 days until vacation, and I love vacation, and I want to mess it up, so I'm just gonna go to work.
The trip to work took him by a few blocks, but the road seemed endless that way.
That day. Okay, whatever.
Though Yu suffered from excessive hypochondria, he really had an incurable disease.
That's sad.
He clearly remembered that day when he heard the diagnosis. Since that moment, he stopped counting new birthmarks on his body.
Oh?
As soon as he reached the park, he saw a pack of street dogs rushing towards him.
Uh-oh.
Deja vu! Yu's heart dropped. Time stood still.
If I freeze in place, I'll probably die. So... run away?
Yu tried to run away, but he barely took a couple of steps and stumbled, falling flat on the ground. As soon as he stretched out on the pavement, the dogs lost all interest in him.
Oh, okay. So I didn't die.
Everything that happened seemed to him insanely familiar, bringing back his childhood memories.
Oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Holding onto his neck, and feeling old scars against his palm, you looked at his ragged suit. His head was buzzing from pain. Glancing at his watch, he wondered if it was appropriate to go to work looking like that.
Bro, I don't know, man. Go to work.
You barely caught into the office when two male silhouettes appeared behind him. He turned around and saw his boss and a man he had never seen before, a little farther away.
Okay, little man? Who's this little man?
The boss frowned and cast a reproachful glance at you.
Well, at least I wasn't late, dum-dum.
Figuring they would have to introduce each other, you quickly took off his ragged jacket, hung it on the back of his chair, and extended his hand.
Let me introduce myself. You.
Okay.
My name is Frank. And you? To avoid unnecessary explanations, you took a name tag from his table and pointed to it. Despite the fact that there was no live communication with clients, the work charter required name tags.
Interesting.
Wow, that's a very unusual name. Nice to meet you.
Awesome.
It is the only unusual detail of my life.
Okay, buddy. Very.
An awkward pause hung in the air.
This guy's just self-pitying, isn't he? Just, oh yeah, me. My name is you.
Frank is our security guard starting today.
Security guard.
Oh, we have nothing to...
A security guard. Some of my important documents are missing.
There are only two of us. What kind of documents?
That I cannot tell you.
Uh-oh.
You mean you suspect me?
No, I do not. Clean yourself up. What is wrong with your hands? Eliminating any opportunity to continue this conversation, the boss turned around and went into his office.
Okay.
The room plunged into silence. You got down to some clerical work.
Okay.
You was sitting at his sturdy desk, imagining again and again how the shelves, stocked with books on jurisprudence, would break loose due to their own weight from friable concrete and break his head.
Why would you think about that? Why is that something that comes to your brain? What is wrong with you?
Allowing himself a little break, you took his diary from his table drawer and made a note.
Oh, what does that note say?
I never took a plate of soup at school lunches, even when I really wanted to. I was afraid to spill it in front of everyone, but I could put it on the table, which seems to be my life's pattern.
Okay, buddy.
Feeling some satisfaction from writing that, he resumed work.
Awesome.
There was a rustle of the janitor's broom and the trill of birds outside the window.
More accurate than the clock,
You thought?
Okay.
Chapter 2.
Alright, chapter 2, guys.
On the second day of work, every sip of coffee came out of his nose as blood.
Wait, what? Every sip of the coffee came out of his nose as blood. What?
Covering his nose with his hand, you went to the restroom. Excuse me. I wish I could narrate a little faster and keep you from getting bored. But it is difficult in my condition.
Oh, so now he's breaking the fourth wall, okay.
Let's continue. Returning to his workplace, you saw Frank sitting at his table and leafing through his personal diary. Such violation of personal boundaries, it seemed, was about to put you out of temper.
Just ask him.
Give it to me.
That wasn't an ask, but okay.
Here, take it. I was curious. In a moment, you hid his diary in the drawer of his desk. I am sorry if I offended you. The incident seemed to be over, but Frank's intrusive nature got the better of him.
Poor Frank.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Why does everyone in your notes die?
Okay. Something obviously wrong with this dude, but let's answer.
Perhaps the lack of communication affected you. Unexpectedly for himself, he answered the question directly.
Okay. Oh, did it click? Wait, there we go.
I'm not sure, but it seems to me that the desire to kill a self-protagonist in the text takes root in the desire to alienate the described situations from a real self.
This man is so depressed.
You said it as if he had prepared an answer to this question a long time ago. Or, at least he had thought about it before.
Okay.
Silence set in. Frank was embarrassed by his answer and tried to look understanding.
Well, more likely that it is just easier to kill.
Oh.
The office phone rang.
Okay. Let's answer the call.
As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped. He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again.
Answer the call.
As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped. He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again.
Answer the call again.
As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped.
Okay, so maybe I shouldn't keep clicking this.
He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again.
Let's ignore the call.
The ringing bored into his skull. You was buzzing together with the receiver. You involuntarily took off, but his head started spinning, and he was seeing dark spots.
Okay.
Holding onto the railing, you slid down the stairs and jumped out onto the street.
Maybe you get hit by a car.
He ran into his boss at the door, who stood there.
So they're smoking?
Go to bed now. You can give me the rest of the papers tomorrow.
Awesome, thank you, boss.
He did not have any strength left to work anyway. Although he left some things in the office, you was not in a hurry to go back. He sat down on the doorstep to rest.
Okay.
His vision was not particularly keen on the second day, so it took him a while to recognize a familiar face. You livened a little. A welcoming grin appeared on his face.
Who is it?
Hi, Max. Why are you not at work? I dismissed my students a little early. How are you feeling? As usual, another night shift. If I was your father, I would have fired you long ago.
Wait, what?
What will be left for me then?
Max answered with a question.
Do you want me to take your shift?
So Max is trying to steal my job? No thank you. No thank you.
No, thank you.
You quickly said goodbye and left.
Yeah, I'm not having him steal my
He
job.
heard some painful coughing behind his back, and his lips let out a grin of satisfaction.
What?
Coming home, you could barely stand on his feet.
This man's sick.
Notwithstanding
Got the
his lack of
coronavirus.
sleep and fatigue, he could not fall asleep.
Man's got the corona.
The day flashed in his head on repeat. As for the breakup, he did not see himself as the victim.
Good.
On the contrary, the entire time during his relationship with Dorina, you wondered,
Wondered what?
Why did she love him? Drained of all strength and weak in spirit from birth.
he did not anymore. Dizziness and pain subsided.
Good.
At some point, he even thought about calling a doctor, just to make sure that he was still alive.
Still alive? Okay.
But sleep
took its toll.
Yeah, man, you should sleep.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3, guys. We made chapter 3.
The alarm went off. You faced a new day with weakness in his legs and a throbbing headache.
Man, this guy's got the coronavirus. I swear to God.
All night long, he had been haunted by a painfully familiar nightmare.
What is that?
However, when he woke up, all tangible images dissolved, leaving only a nasty precipitate. His body led him to the kitchen in search of caffeine.
Caffeine, man. I need caffeine myself.
Despite the early hours, he found his boss there.
Okay. Hello, boss.
How are you feeling?
You heard the question, but ignored it because of his sleepy state.
How difficult is it to answer?
You was pleased to hear the words of concern, even coming that way.
I'm sorry, Father.
Oh. So his boss is his dad.
A cup in Yu's hand, inevitably filled with bloody coffee.
Wait, why is it... Why is the coffee bloody? Why... What's going on here?
You look like shit.
Thank you.
I feel like it. I do not want to lose my last son. Even someone like you.
Wow.
His father had his old wool suit on and was about to leave for work.
You do not have to go to the office today. Get some rest.
Thank you. I'm gonna rest.
Okay, I will try.
Yu went to his room and sat down at his desk. He took a pen and then remembered that he left his diary at work.
Oh, man.
Yu took some letters out of the drawer, which had not been sent for some reason.
Okay.
He took one of the letters and added a few lines to it.
Remember when grandfather made me listen to a rhythmic beat in the air? It is the heartbeat of a gigantic whale who swallowed our universe. And I believed him. What about you? You said it was just train wheels wobbling. So I decided that the whale had died a long time ago, which was better than it being just a fantasy. Do you understand? Asking you this is easy on paper because you will not answer me.
Oh, okay.
Adding those lines, he felt he had completed something important and allowed himself to take a nap.
Okay, naps are good.
Once he dozed off, he heard a knock on the door.
Who's there?
Any unexpected knock on the door or telephone call could evoke severe paranoia in you. Because the knock on your door is louder and more alarming than on any other door.
Okay.
In a moment, there was rustling of envelopes slipping into the mail slot of the front door.
Go to the front door. Let's see the mail.
Once he got up, his sleepiness was gone.
Okay. That's good, I guess.
Sorting out a stack of utility bills, you found a letter addressed to him.
Awesome.
It was a letter from the sanatorium, where he had undergone treatment that summer.
Dear Mr. Yu, I am afraid I have to inform you that you were misdiagnosed due to a serious mistake on my part. Your disease has a closed form, and the possibility of airborne or droplet transmission is excluded. To put your heart at ease, you can follow the precautions recommended to you earlier. However, I assure you that your disease is only focused on you. Accept my sincerest apologies. Your attending physician, K.
So wait, if he's saying it's not contagious, then how did his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend get it?
It would mean little to a healthy person. But to you, the news turned everything upside down. The disease got quiet. That time it did not try to get out. Having used you as a disposable case, it was snugly snoozing,
Oh, okay.
You took a shower, washing away the fuss of the last days, and decided to go to work.
Okay.
You did not tell anyone about this, but I am going to tell you confidentially.
Oh, thank you.
He believed that the disease manifested itself most fiercely when he went to bed.
Oh, okay, that's why he doesn't sleep.
That was why you did not like sleep. His night fantasies became crazier with time. Every dream seemed to him a step closer to insanity.
Oh.
In order to control himself, he regularly looked at his hands and at the clock hands.
Okay.
He walked out of the door and noticed a stranger near the opposite house. That stranger was an identical copy of you,
Oh.
as if his long-lost twin. You froze and watched him. The door was half open, and he saw a pretty girl and a little boy, probably the same age as the kid, behind it. The newly appeared copy of you smiled, said goodbye to his family, and disappeared.
Just poof, disappear. Let's go to work.
You like to alter his route to work every now and then.
Okay.
He would walk through the park, or that patio, or the arch, by which he used to run so often. All that in order to somehow distinguish between days. Otherwise, everything merged into one endless stream.
Understandable.
He remembered that it was the last working day before the holiday when he came up to the office door.
That's good.
Entering the office, you noticed that Frank was not there. He grinned at that maliciously for some reason.
This guy's sick in the head.
He found a new batch of documents on his table. Pinning his name tag on his jacket, you got to work. The work did not take as much time on the last working day. He easily sorted out insurance files and, like a clerical deity, decided the client's fate, deciding who was to receive payments and who had mutilated himself with the purpose of deception.
Ah.
Having gone through most of the papers, he came across an extremely familiar storyline. Insurance form, life insurance, Form 42, fractures, serious illness, and death. Insurance does not cover self-inflicted injuries, self-inflicted infection, or suicide. Date of insurance, March 29th. Date of death, April 5th.
It's him, isn't it? Oh.
Insurance sum, 203,500 coins. Salary, 15,000 coins.
It's him.
The client was an insurance agent. He bought a train ticket, later to be found under its wheels. Witness testimonies varied. According to some testimonies, he was pushed down onto the track. According to the other, he stumbled. Since the gap between the date of insurance and the date of death was so small, there was a note in the file indicating a suspected suicide. All risks were borne by the office that makes the final decision.
Let's accept it.
You confirmed the insurance payout to his metaphysical colleague. What guided him when making such a decision?
I don't know. Me.
Did it evoke his sense of justice, compassion, selfishness, or maybe shame? I am sorry. No. You do not have to answer.
Okay, I won't.
You completed his work earlier than planned. Satisfied, he carefully unfastened his name tag and put it in front of himself. A confusing question went through his head. What's next?
I don't know. Take a break, man. Go clubbing or something. I don't know.
It was Yu's first holiday, and it seemed he did not even plan what to do during the long-awaited vacation. He took his time to clean up his desk,
and went to his boss's office. He formally knocked a couple times on the door and appeared before his father.
Is there anything else I can do?
Is there anything else I can do?
If you have processed the last papers, then you need to fill out the statements.
I already have.
Wait, has your holiday just started? Look at the time. It is the end of the workday. You can go. I dismiss you.
Oh, awesome.
I will work some more.
As you wish. Take it easy on the coffee.
Okay, I will.
Yu took a folder with the statements and turned to leave. Fearing he might appear too soft, the father added,
I do not need a stroke here.
A satisfied smile flashed through Yu's face.
I know, Father.
Uh-oh.